Please take notice that action will be taken on the following items at the regular council meeting on Tuesday, February 9th, 2021 in the council chambers, Sparta Township Municipal Building, 65 Main Street, Sparta, New Jersey. The meeting is called to order at 6 p.m. Adequate notice of this meeting was provided to the public and the press on January 6, 2021 by delivering to the press and posting on the township website a copy of this notice. Kate, could you please take the roll call?
Councilman Hertzberg?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Smith?
Here.
Councilman Chiarello?
Here.
Councilwoman Wildsmith?
Here.
Mayor Quinn.
Here. Okay, Dave, could you please read the motion to go into executive session?
Whereas Section 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, PL 1975, permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances. And whereas this public body is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Sparta, County of Sussex, State of New Jersey as follows. The public shall be excluded from discussion of an action upon the hereinafter specified subject matters. The general nature of the subject matter to be discussed is as follows. Litigation, personnel, contract negotiations, and miscellaneous legal advice. It is anticipated at this time that the above stated subject matter will be made public when deemed appropriate. This resolution shall take effect immediately.
May I please have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Seconded.
May I have a second? Deputy Mayor Smith? So moved. So in the room with us this evening, we have Bill Close, Chief Spitaletto.
Good evening.
We have our esteemed council, welcome back.
Thank you.
Tom Ryan. We have Stan, our engineer, Kate, Josh, myself, Dave, and Mike Dempsey. So that is I said Kate. So that is a panoramic of who is in the room with us at this time.
Thank you.
First and foremost, just as mentioned, just to get us going, I had asked everyone on the council to please take a look. We have some open placements, and I would like very much if we could get that out of the way first. A second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 We're going to take a 3.5-minute break, and we'll see you at 7:30. Thank you. Now? Excellent. First and foremost, on behalf of my colleagues on the council and myself, we'd like to welcome you to the Sparta Township Council meeting of February 9th, 2021. I do want to point out that this meeting is a hybrid one, meaning it's held both publicly in person at the chambers in Town Hall as well as virtually via Zoom. It's important to note that the in-person portion of this meeting adheres to all social distancing protocols currently in effect as per the governor, and that for the virtual portion of the meeting, the URL and password can be found as always in the published agenda. We ask that you please practice live meeting etiquette during and throughout the duration of tonight's meeting. There are two separate sections of this meeting which are open to the public for comment. Should you wish to comment from your computer or tablet, please use the icon provided to raise your hand. If you are dialing in from the phone, please hit *9. Once you are acknowledged, please make sure you speak clearly into the microphone, stating your first and last name and your full address. With that said, please join me in a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We're going to start this evening's meeting with the reading of two very important proclamations. We will start with the proclamation to acknowledge American Heart Month. Whereas heart disease is the leading cause of death for men and women in the United States, and whereas heart disease can often be prevented when people make healthy choices and manage their health conditions. Whereas communities, health professionals, and families working together can create opportunities for people to make healthier choices, such as refraining from tobacco use, maintaining an optimal blood pressure, decreasing the intake of salt in their diets, and increasing physical activity. And whereas developments in technology and the discovery of early markers of heart disease have allowed physicians to diagnose and treat heart disease much sooner and to develop strategies for their patients to stay heart healthy. Now therefore be it resolved that the Township Council of the Township of Sparta hereby proclaims the month of February to be American Heart Month and invites all of the township residents to join them in committing to fighting cardiovascular disease. The second proclamation of the evening is a proclamation to acknowledge Black History Month. Whereas the Township of Sparta is committed to recognizing and honoring the contributions of all members of our community, and whereas the Township of Sparta takes great pride in the members of our African American community and honors organizations, families, and individuals of African American descent in appreciation of their invaluable contributions in many professions and fields, including law, education, government, business, science, sports, the arts, and brave service across the United States Armed Forces that continue to enrich the history and culture of our country, state, and society. And whereas Black History Month grew out of an effort to give balanced and objective scholarly perspective of the contributions of African Americans in both American and world history, and whereas the month of February was chosen for Black History Month as it marks the birth of Frederick Douglass, W.E. Du Bois Langston Hughes, and Abraham Lincoln, whose actions greatly impacted the lives of the American Black population and grew out of Black History Week, which was traditionally celebrated during the second week of February and expanded in 1976 as part of the nation's bicentennial. And whereas the Township of Sparta invites all residents of the community to renew their commitment to ensuring racial equality, understanding, and justice for all, and their efforts to advance the cause of equality for every person, regardless of race, creed, or religious preference, creating a world that is more just, peaceful, and prosperous for us all. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Christine Quinn, Mayor of the Township of Sparta, do hereby proclaim this month of February 2021 as Black History Month, and am proud to honor the history and contributions of African Americans in our nation, state, and community. May I please have a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes held on December 22nd, 2020 as presented?
So moved.
I move that we approve the,
Oh, I have the motion from Councilman Hertzberg. May I have a second?
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. May I please have a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes held on January 12th, 2021 as presented?
So
I move to approve the minutes from January 2021.
Okay,
I'll second.
excellent. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Just to go back, Mayor, Josh, I believe you made the motion to approve the minutes of December 22nd. You were here. Can he make that motion?
Oh, no, you're right. You're right. I cannot. I
Okay, so we're going to
abstain from
back
that.
out of that, and we're going to flip-flop that. So we're going to back out.
I'll make the motion then to accept the minutes held from December 22nd, 2020 as presented.
Okay, may I have a second?
I'll second the motion, Chris.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Abstain?
Please note for the record, Kate, that Councilman Hertzberg abstained. Okay, this is the first part of the meeting this evening, which is open to the public. Mike, do we have any attendees that are on the phone that are interested in, these are for items that are not on this evening's agenda?
There are currently no hands raised and no questions have been submitted.
Okay, being as none online, we'll go to the room. Being as none, we will move on to the manager's report. Mr. Close.
Thank you, Mayor. Just again, we have the new holiday banners up. I want to thank Jim Zepp and his crew. I think they look great. With the snow as a background, they certainly are even more pronounced and I think add to the look of the community. Speaking of the storm, as you're all aware, we had a significant event on February 1st and 2nd that produced an accumulation of almost 31 inches here in town, according to our weather service. The DPW and Parks crews were out salting all the roads, the hills, throughout the effort keeping the roads passable for emergency vehicles and first responders. They did an outstanding job, in my opinion, throughout the course of that storm. We were fortunate there were no major issues with any equipment in the township during the event, so they were able to keep going. Also, due to road conditions in Lake Mohawk and their roads, the township went in to assist as well, and I thought that was well done on the part of everyone involved. The governor did declare a state of emergency for Storm Orlena. So following the direction of the governor, we closed offices on those days, and we are working on FEMA reimbursements in coordination with Chief Spitaletto as OEM director. Again, the NJDA Small Business Assistance Loan Program is open. We just want to remind local folks there's $10 million for local businesses and nonprofits impacted by the pandemic. They can borrow up to $100,000 low-cost financing for help with recovery and reopening efforts. Those who wish to participate, there's a pre-registration period between the 10th and the 22nd of the month. Again, if you go to the website or to the chamber website, you can find information on how to pursue this process. The Town Hall roof replacement project, currently there's no one working up there due to the current weather conditions. It's approximately 95% complete at this point, except for the snow guards, some other minor work, leader work, additional work, gutters that will be put on now, and some punch list items. So I think it looks great, and we're fortunate that we got it on. This weather certainly would have wreaked havoc with the old roof had it not occurred. Parks work at White Lake, in addition to everything else that Parks previously they had been working on installing cameras and Wi-Fi access over there. All the equipment now is in stock with Mike. He'll be coordinating with Jim and Jean relative to installation of the necessary pole to provide access, site visibility to both fields. We'll begin this once the weather breaks, and we're into a season where the work process slows down, and certainly try to have it up and in place for the spring season. As I just mentioned previously with FEMA, with the Governor's Executive Order number 215, staff and myself, Chief Spitaletto, have been working to, withstand and our staff to submit the necessary cost reimbursement requests for state consideration. It is only for the large storm, not the subsequent storms. So we are continuing that process as well. With respect to COVID, the township continues to participate in meetings with the state and county. The mayor's conference call was again held today at 4 p.m. on the pandemic, and again we'll let Mayor Quinn comment on today's meeting. Governor Murphy, as you're aware, again signed Executive Order 215, which extended the state of emergency through the 18th of this month, so we are anticipating that to be extended once again. That date coincides with the date of the next COVID testing clinic scheduled here in town that the county is running at 5 West Shore, so that should be held on February 18th as well. The governor did sign Executive Order 219, which raised the indoor capacity limits for restaurant service, along with adjustment to other gathering limits for weddings and religious services. Now go from 25 to 30%. And also, additionally, it ended the 10 p.m. curfew for restaurant service. That took effect on Friday, February 5th. The township continues to post information from various sites, the governor's office, CDC, etc., on our website and social media platforms, and as has been my practice during the last few months, again, I'm going to now turn it over to Police Chief and OEM Coordinator Neil Spitaletto for his comments on the situation and the storm events. Chief Neil.
Thank you, Mr. Close. Thank you, Mayor and Town Council. COVID report, I'll start with first, Mr. Close covered quite a bit on that already. Finally, some better news to report with the virus trending in a better direction, with the transmission rate, hospitalizations, and cases heading downward. The governor has mentioned loosening some more restrictions, hopefully, as this downward trend continues. As Mr. Close mentioned, with the Executive Order 219 and the expansion from 25% to 35%. Capacity. Sparta Township Office of Emergency Management has made contact with our senior living facilities and some of the senior residences within Sparta Township and can report vaccinations are being administered to a good portion of them, thanks to some private partnerships and private companies assisting them. Besides the locations established in the county to acquire vaccines, certain CVS locations will be offering the vaccine soon. Hopefully, it was mentioned by the end of the week. If you visit their website at cvs.com, immunizations, or call the CVS number at 800-746-7287 to set up an appointment. Locations of the vaccine will be rotated as of right now to different CVS stores throughout the state, so there's no specific CVS stores mentioned at this point as a location where you can get vaccinations. As Mr. Close also mentioned, Zufall will once again be located at 5 West Shore, administering COVID testing on February 18th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. One can schedule an appointment at the zufallhealth.org website. Sparta Township Officer of Emergency Management continues to stress the safety precautions that we've been discussing since the beginning of this pandemic and following the recommended CDC guidelines that are in place. On another note, Sparta OEM has also been monitoring the active inclement weather that has been occurring in February. Warming centers / go-to centers were activated before Winter Storm Orlina and will be continuing to do so and possibly looking to do the same this weekend with the cold weather coming and potential more precipitation and inclement weather. And just a quick reminder also to our residents and businesses to please keep your walkways, sidewalks, and fire hydrants clear. In times of emergency, we know that minutes and sometimes seconds count for us for first responders to get there. That concludes my report, Mayor.
Thank you so much to both of you. May I please have a motion to accept both the manager's report and the chief's report as presented?
So moved.
May I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Deputy Mayor, may I please have a motion to approve expenditures?
I'll make a motion to approve the expenditures in the amount of $8,306,825.23.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Kate, could you please introduce ordinance 21-01?
Certainly. An ordinance amending Chapter 18 entitled Comprehensive Land Management Code to update and amend Section 18-4.29 entitled ED, Economic Development District, and Section 18-4.35 entitled PDRM, Plan Development and Resource Management District.
Thank you so much. May I please have a motion to introduce ordinance 21-01?
So moved.
May I have a second?
I'll second it.
Roll call vote. Kate?
Councilman Hertzberg?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Smith?
Yes.
Councilman Chiarella?
No.
Councilwoman Wilesmith?
Yes.
Mayor Quinn.
Yes. Thank you. We have no ordinances this evening, no hearings for ordinances this evening. So this is the second part of tonight's session where we are open to the public, specifically with regard to the resolutions listed. There are two resolutions, 9-1 and 9-2. Mike, do we have any hands up online or?
No, there's no hands raised and no questions.
Thank you, Mike. Any from the audience? Okay, being as none, may I please have a motion to approve resolutions 9-1 and 9-2?
So moved.
May I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Council liaison updates. Let's start with Deputy Mayor Smith. Are there any updates?
We haven't really had any meetings. The library does not meet in February. The seniors will be meeting in another 2 weeks. So, no report.
Okay. Excellent. Molly?
None.
Dan?
Nothing to report from the Environmental Commission or the Cultural Affairs Committee. I think we still need to schedule a technology committee meeting, but that can probably wait still for a while. But probably should get to it probably at some point in Q1. It's probably a good idea.
Okay, so why don't you guys get together and
But otherwise,
you
nothing.
want to have your meeting date. You could work with Councilman Hertzberg on that. I know you guys are both on there, and you have new members of the committee as well. So, okay, great. Councilman Hertzberg.
No, I didn't have an EDC committee until tonight, so we'll be working on meeting.
Great. Okay, as far as I go, the planning board did not meet, so there's nothing to report from there. And we are working with Lake Mohawk and the Board of Education to set up our meeting dates that we're going to have for this year. And I do want to say that I think I mentioned we had our first Municipal Alliance meeting. Matt is our new team member, and he really was fantastic. So we just want to welcome him formally here. Okay, and that pretty much concludes council liaison updates. That will bring us to old business, and I will go around the other way this time. So we will start with Councilman Hertzberg. Old business?
No old business.
No old business. Okay, we will go to Molly. Old business?
No old business.
Dan, old business.
I have no old business, thanks.
Deputy Mayor?
No old business.
No old business. Okay, I of course have old business. I always have business. I know, don't laugh.
You will always have some kind of business.
I always have business. So first and foremost, on a very heartfelt and sincere note, I want to commend the Township DPW, the staff and administration for an amazing job again. And I cannot stress, COVID never goes away, right? We have 30 to 40 inches of snow in this town right now, depending on where you sit and what channel you watch on TV. It is amazing. I mean, the emergency responders, the police, the EMT, everybody, DPW, leadership across everything, every agency that we have has just done an outstanding job again, through the most difficult circumstances. So Chief, please bring that back to your agency. I think Jim Zepp is on the phone as well. Bill, please bring that back to administration and staff, that their efforts are unbelievably appreciated. Also, I want to remind everyone about the new chamber portal. And that's it for me pretty much for old business. So we're going to move on to new business, and we'll go the opposite way. So Deputy Mayor, new business.
Yeah, I'd like to bring up about the vaccination up at the fairgrounds. It's going very well. Our local Sparta CERT team, at the end of this week, will have logged in almost 500 hours. We do look for 36 volunteers every day. We need 8 volunteers of nurses every day to make this run. We are going to be running for the next 12 days straight without a break, because our first doses are now up for the second doses, and we're still getting the same amount of allocation for the first doses, so we've got to double up. A lot of people have asked me if they could volunteer. Yes, you can. The way to do it is go on to sussex.nj.us, type in this search screen MRC, it's the Medical Reserve Corps.
Can you say that one more time?
It's sussex.nj.us. In the search, just put in MRC, which is Medical Reserve Corps. There's a simple application in there. They are waiving any orientation for it. Once you have the application in there, it takes about a week. Somebody will get back to you. That allows them to put you on their insurance and everything else, so you are covered. It's a big need. It's a big nut to crack. They expect to be up there right through to June. Thursdays right now are being put aside for seniors. If you know of a senior that does not have access to a computer, they can dial 973-579-0555 and set up an appointment with somebody at the county health department, and they will set up an appointment for you to receive the vaccine. So far, it's going very well. We've had really no instances at all. This Saturday, the 14th, I believe it is, we have to move from the big barn over to the atrium. So next week, if people ask, it will be walk-in, because the big barn, the Richards building, is being has been contracted for the week. So it will be a walk-in the next week. Other than that, a lot of people are asking, how do they get the appointment? Well, that's another story. I don't know when they open up for the county, and they are asking now for the fairgrounds that you be an approved residency in the county. We were starting to get a lot of New York people down there. We just can't handle it. We're doing about 230, between 200 and 250, let's put it that way, vaccinations a day up there. We're going from 8:15, 9 o'clock in the morning, around there till about 1 o'clock, depending on how it goes. So the websites that you're going to find on that same page I gave you don't talk to each other. My suggestion is put your name in all the sites. Hopefully you'll get one. We don't find out what the fairgrounds are going to get till the Friday before, so they don't open it up until usually Friday night or Saturday night, because they don't know how much vaccine they're going to get for the following week. And Mike, he can vouch for it. It's only open for about an hour, and all 1,000 appointments are taken. So just keep on it, keep working at it. You'll get it someplace, but just put your name all over it. What they do ask is, once you get the appointment someplace, take your name out of the other places, because it does lock people out. They do recommend, it's not necessary, but they do recommend you get your second vaccination the same place as the first, because that's how the state allocates the vaccinations. The Moderna, what they're giving now, is a 28-day wait up to 6 weeks. You will get, when you leave the fairgrounds, you'll get an email, and it'll tell you, and it'll have a specific time. If you can't make that time, call the Board of Health right away and reschedule, but it must be rescheduled within that week, because that's how the vaccinations are coming out. I hope that clears up some things. If there's any other questions, you can email me through the township. I'll be happy to answer what I can. It's still a work in progress. Every time I go up there, there's some tweaks here and there, and it's working out real well. Again, there's other than the sheriff's office, there's only four, maybe 5 paid employees up there, and you have 44 volunteers every day running that place.
So it's important to note also that Deputy Mayor Smith has been up there, and his wife, almost every day, many, many days. In addition to all the hats that he wears on the committee, on the council, Deputy Mayor Smith is also running our CERT team, and the members of the CERT team have been right there with him. So I cannot thank you enough for your leadership and for your volunteer spirit. And our job now is to get the word out to the community to help be able to get this message out there. We cannot have the same volunteers out there all the time from the beginning of the winter to the summertime. So we're going to do our due diligence, Dave, and try to get the word out and get as many people as we can. So thank you, and please also convey our sincere thanks to every single member, not only of the CERT team, but also at the county for the outstanding effort. I know I was on the call today, and I actually commended you as well as the volunteers and the emergency workers at the site as well. But please bring that back to the CERT team.
Also, just one quick note. MRC is Medical Reserve Corps. You do not need medical background for it. Anybody can sign up and belong to the Medical Reserve Corps. And that's important, because a lot of people say, I'm not a nurse, I'm not an EMT, I'm not a doctor. You don't have to be. Anybody off the street, if they can get through the application process, can join the MRC in the county.
Thank you so much. New business, where were we in the, new business, Dan?
No new business, thank you.
New business, Molly?
No new business, thank you. I also wanted to say thank you, Dave.
New business?
Thank you for your volunteerism.
Thank you.
It's yeoman's work.
I just want to quickly acknowledge the outpouring of I guess, thanks from the community when, the township, the chief, and stepped in to help the residents of Lake Mohawk during this time. I didn't even know it was happening, and all over Facebook I see people thanking the township for jumping in, and I just wanted to say it was nice for the township to get that appreciation from people, even though you saw some people using it as an opportunity to tell falsehoods about what was going on there. I think the residents realize this isn't an us against them, that, there are residents, and whenever they need help, we're going to be there. But I want to give an extra special thanks to the DPW guys who, after working these long shifts, continuously for days, didn't bat an eye and went in there and did their job and helped out the residents. And, I thank Bill and Neil and Jim for making the calls to do that. And I was glad that worked out. So
Absolutely.
that's all I have.
Yeah, totally agree, Josh. It was really nice to see everybody come together. It's awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Is that all the new business?
That's all I have.
Okay. So of course, I know, don't snicker and laugh, Josh, because here comes my new business. So my new business is I'm going to appoint Amy Del Coro as the newest member of the library committee. So I'm making a motion to nominate and appoint, but I think this is a mayor's appointment.
Yes, it is.
So I'm going to go ahead and just make that appointment. This comes at the advisement of Dave, and I'm sure that she will be a great addition.
It's Dave Costa.
Dave Costa, not Deputy Mayor Dave. Kate, can you please reach out to Amy and let her know? That'd be great. Also, I would like a motion, please, to approve Peter Ski to the unfilled position on the planning board.
So moved.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
No.
So I didn't get my mute button up in time to say aye.
Aye, yes, or aye, opposed?
Aye, yes.
Aye, yes. Okay, thank you. May I please have a motion to nominate Joe Toscano and Jerry Murphy as alternates to the planning board?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
I vote no. We've had 9 people that applied for this board, and I haven't had an opportunity to meet with a number of people, so I will vote no.
Okay. Well, in all fairness, you have had the applications for quite some time now, so it's...
I have read them.
Okay. Well, we've all had them, and everybody was notified. But being that as it may, the motion is carried. Also, may I please have a motion to reappoint all existing members of the Economic Development Committee?
So moved.
May I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
No for me.
Okay. Motion is carried. At this point, I would like a motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
Wait.
Oh, the
Oh,
public.
I'm so sorry. Open to the public. I apologize. The last segment for open to the public. Please state your name and address.
Jenny Derricks, 27 Mount Pleasant Road. What's new in this ordinance? What changed?
In which
In
ordinance?
the only ordinance that was on the agenda. The 2101.
Oh, for the rail?
Yeah.
This one. Okay, so Stan, you
Stan
want to?
explained that to me perfectly.
Stan, you want to just give an update of what that is?
Certainly. In November, February of 2020, the planning board undertook a re-examination of the municipal master plan. They addressed a variety of matters. One matter that they addressed within that municipal master plan, something that they've been carrying for at least several re-examination reports, is the need to address the rail system that exists in Sparta and looking based on the actual industries that utilize the rail service for moving materials off the rail into warehousing and vice versa, to make sure that the various standards within that land use ordinance match the criteria that's in use today. So this ordinance reflects those improvements.
So businesses were already, or entities were already behaving outside of the ordinance, the acceptable land use for rail interaction, for lack of a better word, and the planning board backfilled to allow what they were doing to now match.
I'm not sure I understand the question.
So there were already things going on with regard to rail interactions in the community. I don't know how else to say it. All these things that are listed here. They were already doing these things, and the planning board then backfilled them and said now they're part of the ordinance?
There were no changes to use, so all of the uses within these zones remain unchanged. All the planning board essentially did was they looked at the criteria, bulk standards, et cetera, and evaluated those standards against these uses that would take advantage of the rail. And where they determined that the existing ordinance was restrictive and didn't enable that use, they simply made sure that the ordinance allowed for it. So the land use policy was to enable the businesses to take advantage of the land, yet they found that some of the provisions of the existing ordinance were counter to that policy.
Okay.
But no changes to use whatsoever, which I think is the question.
Right, so the uses are there, it's just the industry standards for lack were not.
That's a great way of saying
Okay.
it, yes.
Okay.
Right, and to Stan's point, this has been something that's come up numerous times on the master plan reevaluation report. So it's not that we're backfilling anything, the planning board made the recommendation to the council to be able to support an asset that we have for, as far as economic development, that ordinances need to be changed to support, that's all.
Thank you. I have one other question. Is Jerry Murphy still in litigation with the township?
I'll defer.
The dismissal of his complaint was upheld by the appellate division. There had been some indications and comments by his attorney to the press that he was going to file a motion for reconsideration to the appellate division and possibly file for certification in review by the state Supreme Court, but I don't know if that's ever been done.
Okay, just wouldn't have him on a committee, I would think. You would not approve him for a committee if he's still in litigation with the township.
Any other?
All right, never mind.
Go ahead, Jen. Go ahead. We're still in open. Do you want?
Okay, I'm done.
Okay. Anyone online, Mike, with their hand up or screen or question?
No questions and no raised hands.
Okay. Being as none, at this point in time, I would like a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
May I have a second? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Be safe, everyone out there. We'll see you at the next meeting.